Tomorrow is potentially our last caseworker visit, maybe ever. Hello, welcome to Fostering Lauren, where we talk about all things foster care and adoption. It just occurred to me that tomorrow is potentially our very last caseworker visit, possibly ever. We have been fostering for something like 10 years, but on and off, where we have had gaps of time where we have taken time off of fostering for sure. If you're just now watching for the first time and you haven't checked out some of my other videos, we have fostered in 3 states. So we've kind of like had some breaks in between where we've had to get relicensed or we've just taken a breather. But we have, for the most part, kind of been part of the foster care and adoption world for about 10 years. And tomorrow is potentially our very last caseworker visit, which is such a weird thought and reality. I don't think it's quite hit me yet that we won't be doing this, because we've had so many times come up where we've said, oh, I think this is our last caseworker visit, and after this adoption or after this reunification, we're probably going to close our home or take a breather or whatever. And here we are 10 years later and still doing this foster care thing that we thought we would be done with so long ago. But because this has kind of kept going and kept going, we've been doing the foster care thing. We've been doing something I like to call the social worker scramble for a very long time. So we've gotten really used to people coming into our house and looking through our things and talking to all our people. And in some places, very announced and planned. And in some places, we've had them pretty much sneak up on us and surprise us on a regular basis, which is very nerve-wracking, by the way. That whole system, I get why they do it. I get the idea behind both methodologies there. But it has been a hard road. It is hard not just for my husband and I, it's hard on all my kids, and that includes my biological kids and my adopted kids and my foster kids, of course, foster kids, and we can talk about this another time in another video, but sometimes having caseworkers over is a trigger. And so that's always a big thing to have to face. For my husband and I, of course, there's the stress of just trying to get everything ready and in order. And I know those of you that have been doing this forever will say, you don't need to make a big deal out of caseworker visits. I just come let them see how my house is in any given situation and they can take it or leave it. I'll tell you, I wish I lived that kind of life. I don't think I'm even organized enough to look like my messy is a normal amount of messy. I mean, with this many kids and 7 of my kids are boys, and I don't want to blame it all on the boys because my girls are slobby too. But we need a real big notice when we are having company over. So the stress, going back to the stress my husband and I kind of faced just getting ready, and that I feel I put a lot of pressure on myself, which I get is my own issue, to have things kind of in order and ready for when caseworkers come over. And are we up to date on things? Are we up to date on trainings? Are we up to date on any paperwork that needs to be turned in? Do I have paperwork to turn in? Have we, cleaned? Have we, all these things, they kind of need to be in order for these caseworker visits. But I'm going to point out the stress on bio kids, because I don't think we talk about that very much. The effects that it has on our biological kids. I mean, they're doing this social worker scramble or whatever you want to call along with everybody else. So I can't tell you how many times my kids have had to kind of just drop everything they're doing or whatever plans they're making and kind of jump in and help out where needed. And I'm so grateful to them for that. They've always been awesome and not complained and really had this be something that was just as important to them as anybody else. They've never said, well, this isn't about me, I shouldn't have to participate. They've always been amazing. So shout out to my biological kids for being awesome with that. But tomorrow could be our very last social worker scramble, and it shouldn't be a scramble because I do know she's coming and we should be getting ready, but I always do feel like there's that last minute rush of like, okay, now that we've kind of cleaned up, everybody's taking everything back out, let's clean up again. So, and I'm probably once again overthinking that, and I know some of you are way more casual. I am actually pretty casual with it too. Our very best clean is most people's casual. So I just want to say though, with 10 kids, I am not a type A person, so it takes me a little bit, but because, tomorrow is potentially the last visit, I mean, that's kind of sentimental. And I say it's potentially the last visit because who knows, we have, our adoption is coming up. I will make a video about about that when we get just a little bit closer. But because it's right around the corner, we're on the very last month where my foster kids are still my foster kids and they're not my adopted kids. And therefore it's caseworker time. So she has to have her once a month visit, which is what they do in the area I'm in. And it may vary in your particular location, but here it's once a month. So we're getting ready for our last caseworker visit, and I don't know, and maybe you can kind of comment below on what you would do. I'm almost like, should we get her flowers or a card? We'll see her again at the adoption. So of course, I guess we could thank her then as well too. But I do want to say to all of those of you out there who are caseworkers, it is a hard road you guys walk, and just like people tell me all the time as a foster parent, I don't know how you do it. I could never ever do that. It's so hard. I think I would love them too much. I know those caseworkers face that same kind of thing, because I'll tell you, I don't think I could be a caseworker. I don't think that is something I am cut for. I know sometimes as foster parents we get frustrated hearing that I could never do that, kind of excuse, because there are definitely some people who should not be foster parents, and that is for sure. But there are probably more people that could be foster parents that just kind of won't. It's less of a can't and more of a won't. But I will say I do understand the can'ts, because when it comes to caseworker stuff, I think that is a can't for me. I can't even imagine going and picking up a child fresh out of a biological mom's arms, or from a hospital, or having to see sometimes the court systems not be working towards the best interest when they should be, and getting frustrated with that, and being told you have deadlines and small budgets and a lot of caseloads with not a lot of help. I can't even imagine what that's like. So for all you caseworkers out there, I just want to say thank you so much for all you do. I'm going to get emotional. I know that it is so hard and heart-wrenching. You wouldn't be doing it. I can't imagine you guys make a ton of money. And I've watched it with my own eyes in every single state we fostered in, how overburdened you are. And I just want to thank you so much for everything you do. I can't, it's so very, very much. And I know you wouldn't be doing it if you didn't truly love these kids and want what's best for them. And so thank you so much for all you do. For all you caseworkers that I've just forgotten to thank, or all you caseworkers that I just haven't seen forever, if you ever see this video, you are awesome. And because of the things you have done, we've had very special kids in our lives be reunified with their biological parents or biological family. And we've had kids that we've been able to adopt through foster care, and we can't thank you enough for both of those scenarios. So thank you so much for fighting for kids from really, really hard places, even when it seems like everything is against you and there's just not enough money or time or people to really support what you guys do. Thank you for all that you guys do. And I will miss the social worker scramble in a very, very weird way. I don't know why, but I think I'm gonna miss it just a bit, because I kind of joke sometimes that I don't know if our house would ever get like clean if we didn't have that to worry about. So we'll have to find another reason to really like just scramble and clean everything every once in a while. But I will not miss the pressure. I know that there's a sense of freedom, a weight lifted off your back when that's just not something you have to deal with anymore. And I know caseworkers aren't trying to make it like burdensome. They're just doing their jobs, and they need to make sure that kids are in good homes. And I know that like perfectly ordered, cleaned house is not the mark necessarily of a loving, awesome family. But at the same time, there are kids that are placed in homes that aren't safe, where they're not being taken care of, and you don't want to take a child from a neglect scenario and put them in a neglect scenario. So I know there's a reason for what they do. They do have standards that they need their families to measure up to, and it makes perfect sense. But it is pressure. It's pressure for us foster parents. So I won't miss that pressure, I will say. And I know that the trigger that it can be for my adopted children, who, every time a caseworker comes over, kind of reminds them of that really hard time in their life. And for my kids that are still kind of going through right now, that kind of trigger of when caseworkers here, big things sometimes happen, big scary things, and I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to feel that. I don't want that. That pressure for them will be gone as well. And I do look forward to that, kind of that freedom of like, we're forever family, and therefore you don't have to worry about leaving tomorrow or having to pack up and go. That permanency that is so important to our kids. So I'm grateful for that. But once again, caseworkers, all of you caseworkers out there, we love you, even though we like to blame a lot of things on you. And I know it's hard work. It's hard, dirty, messy work, and you're so awesome for doing it, because I would not do it. I'd rather have the kids in my home, and I'm sure that a lot of you feel completely the opposite. And then some of you are watching this video and say, I would literally do neither, but how else can I get involved? And that is another video for another time. So anyway, bittersweet moment tomorrow, saying goodbye to all the social worker stuff, all the caseworker stuff, and hopefully we will stay in contact with her down the line, giving updates, which is by no means required in the area we're in. But I think it's nice when you can send the caseworkers a little update from now and then, especially if they've been really emotionally involved in the cases. And sometimes that happens. They get really, really involved, especially when kids have been on their caseload for a very, very long time, or they've seen their kids really go through it. So if you can, little tip for you foster moms, foster dads that are looking towards adoption, consider getting some sort of phone number that is not their work phone number. And I know that that's kind of weird to ask, and some caseworkers may not even want to give out their personal information, but you will not necessarily be able to get a hold of that caseworker post-adoption from their work phone. And I say that because caseworker turnover is huge. And so some of these work phone numbers are their actual like works property. That phone might belong to whatever division they're working for. So I know that there's caseworkers we've had in our lives that are no longer working for the particular department or even CPS at all or whatever agency at all. And so they've not been able to get any updates on the kids. And I know one particular case that the caseworker was very emotionally involved with these boys. And I would love to send her a picture with an update of them, but there's just no way to do that. And that was I didn't even think about the fact that at some point we might need to like get a real email for her or something that wasn't a work specific email. But lesson learned, and for sure with adoption number 4, we will make sure to do that with her so we can keep track. And some might even be casual enough to be Facebook friends with you or keep track of you on Messenger or something like that. But anyway, I hope you all have a good rest of your day. We're just finishing up our day, getting ready and cleaning for tomorrow. Please like, subscribe, support this channel. I love when we have a larger community. I love when you guys can speak into each other and when I can share my story with you, and I love it when you guys share your story with me. So anytime you want to comment and share where you're at in the foster care and adoption process, I love to hear it. If you're a caseworker, comment below. I love to hear your guys' perspective as well. I know you guys are in a really, really tough spot. I know that what you guys do is super duper hard. I know you guys can get a little beat up from all sides, including from foster parents. You guys get a bad rap. I hope to speak on most of our behalfs as foster parents, though, that we do love and appreciate what you do, even if we don't always say it. So anyway, I hope you all have a good rest of your night, and I will see you next time. Bye.